We're good to go?
We're good to go. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Sac City Board of Education. We'll start with a roll call vote.
Member Jean?
Here.
Member Kayada? Member Benjamin? Member Navarro?
Here.
Member Rhodes?
Present.
Member Singh? Member Ibarra?
Here.
Member
Nakia.
Nakia?
Here.
Do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
We will adjourn into closed session. All right, so we're at 4.0, calling back to order. We'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. Please stand if you're able. And begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One day. And now our broadcast statement.
This meeting of the Sacramento City Unified School District is recorded. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV UVerse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Monday, August 10th at 6 o'clock p.m. and Wednesday, August 12th at 11:30 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. We welcome members of the audience to address the board. You can complete a speaker form located at the back of the room and hand it to our communications representative along with any handouts you may have for the board. Please do this prior to the conclusion of the item's presentation to the board. Make sure you speak into the microphone and start by stating your name for the record. We ask you to speak to the agenda item that aligns with your comments. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda. Please also either turn off your cell phones or place them on silent mode. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 5.0, announcement of action taken in closed session.
Good evening, President Jean. There are 3 announcements coming out of closed session this evening. First, the board approved a settlement agreement related to special education services in the amount of $69,970.56 by a vote of 6-0 with member Kayada absent. Second, the board approved a settlement agreement related to OAH case number 2026-041097 in the amount of $50,900 by a vote of 5-0 with members Kayada and Singh absent. Your superintendent will give the final announcement.
Thank you. By the vote of 6-0 with board member Kayada absent, the board approved the appointment of Christy Boyes as our new general counsel. Christy, come on up. The board would love to hear a few words, and I do want to just share you are the first to hold this position in the district as an employee, and so welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be offered this position, and I'm super excited to start and hit the ground running, and I look forward to getting to know you and working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Item 6.0, agenda adoption. Moved by member Singh.
I'll second.
Seconded by member Nangita. All in favor? Aye. Moving on to 7.0, public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, we have about 8. First speakers, Sophie Stoddard with Shermaya Felder and Marley Clay.
Hello, President Tara Jean, board members, and Superintendent Ms. Concy McCarn. My name is Marley Clay, and I'm a student at the Met Sacramento High School. I'm here today to highlight a staff member at the Met, Rebecca Elizalde. For the past 3 years, Rebecca was our after-school coordinator at the Met. Rebecca was amazing. Her love and dedication for the job was evident. Her love for us kids is what made us special. Rebecca helped introduce the Met to many clubs we have never had before, Driver's Ed was a club that provided a way for many students who could not afford to do so otherwise, the steps to get their permit. She provided a safe space for students before school, during lunch, and after school. In all, she was just a very beloved and impactful staff member at my school. But what's equally important is her as a person. She was a professional staff member who was a part of many student support systems like mine. She could always tell if there was something off with us and genuinely cared about us. She helped me land a job as a youth ambassador so I could work after school, and more recently helped me land a role in the Student Advisory Council. She helped me out a lot, doing practice interviews with me, reading over my written responses, and just being there for me in general. As I said, she was always there for me, so now I feel like I need to be there for her. Rebecca was fired during the summer. A person who was very professional and somebody who did her job well. Looking at the bigger picture, myself and other students have noticed that Rebecca leaving is a part of an alarming pattern. In the 3 years of our current principal, Heraclio Guevara, at least 13 different women staff members leave the Met. I understand that we are a small school and money can sometimes be an issue, but at the Met, relationships with staff members are vital. With these relationships, you understand that some of these women did not want to leave, but felt they had no option and no voice. I'm here to ask you as a student to please look into this. Ask questions, reach out to these women. I have handed you sheets with contact information and I have given you a testimonial. One of them is anonymous because so many staff members have expressed a fear of retaliation. I appreciate you guys giving me the time, and I would like to add that I feel like it is the district's responsibility to investigate further. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, President Tara Jean, board members, and superintendents. My name is Shamaria Felder, and I am a senior at the Met Sacramento High School. I'm here today to highlight a staff member, Rebecca Elizaldes, who was our after-school care coordinator. Ever since I was a freshman, she has helped me and supported me in ways that have made her a memorable staff member in my eyes. For example, I came to her for a lot of personal problems, and she was always there for me no matter what. She supported me when I was in my musical theater career. Another example, she helped me with Spanish 2, a class that I was failing miserably in. Overall, Rebecca is the most kindest person I know in the entire school, and whenever she walks, she brightens up a room. Even though there are just 3 of us here, I can assure you that these feelings are shared by countless others at my school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, board members and superintendent. My name is Sophie Stoddard, and I'm a junior at the Met High School. I wasn't as close with Rebecca as the people I'm here with today, but I do want to share a short story of when Rebecca really helped me. I lost my mom at the beginning of my sophomore year and was unaware of a driving program starting at our school. Because I was unaware of this program, I submitted my application to join the program pretty late. But Rebecca helped me get into driving school, and even more than that, helped me get back on track after a devastating loss to my sophomore year where I felt extremely isolated. Not only that, but I have only ever heard good things from my peers. She had an amazing influence on the Met, and to hear she was fired was truly a disappointing start to our school year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don Orozco, followed by Steve Bruno, then Bree Garcia.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dawn Orozco, and I'm the transitional kindergarten teacher at Tahoe Elementary. I last addressed the board on March 19th regarding the proposed layoffs of our transitional kindergarten aides. At that time, I shared my concerns about the impact these decisions would have on compliance, staffing, and our youngest learners. Today, as the start of school approaches, those concerns have become a reality. On March 19th, I asked the board to prevent this situation. Today, I am asking, what is the district's plan now that we are here? As of Tuesday evening, I was able to find 12 TK-aid positions still needing to be filled across the district on EdJoin, including 2 at my own school and 1 in my classroom. Because the hiring process is still underway, and many of these job postings do not even close until the 13th of August, 2 days after school begins on August 11th, it is unlikely that all these positions will be filled by the time school starts. That means multiple TK classrooms will begin the school year without the staffing required to meet California's mandated 10-to-1 student-to-adult ratio. Not only on the first day of school, but potentially for days or even weeks afterwards, while hiring continues. I have experienced this before. When the TK ratio originally changed, it took 6 months to fill my aide position. I spent more than half the school year out of compliance. I sincerely hope our newest TK teachers and their students don't have to face the same situation. I also want to emphasize that relying on substitute aides is not a simple solution. During a typical school year, we already struggle to find substitute aides when only a handful of aides are absent. Finding enough qualified substitutes to cover 12 open positions, possibly more, is an even greater challenge. Our TK aides are not optional. They are essential for legal compliance, student safety, instructional support, and the consistency our youngest learners need to thrive.
Please wrap up.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. You want to finish?
I had one more sentence.
Perfect.
Okay, sorry. I respectfully ask the board, what's the district's immediate plan to ensure that every TK classroom remains in compliance while these positions are being filled? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. One of the great things that I enjoyed about school was history class, because history is a fascinating subject where patterns tend to repeat over and over again. Now, you guys recently approved that MOU. There was an AB 1200 disclosure. AB 1200 was an assembly bill that got signed into law, which is also what gives SCOE the oversight and the ability to overrule financial decisions. But it also comes as a result of a school district going bankrupt. And this is an article from June 1991 about the grand jury findings about what caused that. And I just find it fascinating how patterns repeat. The jury concluded the ultimate responsibility for the district's need to seek bankruptcy protection earlier this spring belonged to a school board that failed to control the district budget. The board, it said, overspent after succumbing to a large dose of wishful thinking and pressure from school employees, unions, and community groups. In the final analysis, the grand jury said, the local school board has final authority over its budget. The article also said that the county superintendent of schools, as well as annual audits, warned the district of increasing deficits. It's just, again, fascinating. This was written 1991, and it feels like it could be written today. Thank you.
Bree Garcia.
Good evening, Superintendent and members of the board. My name is Bree Garcia. I'm a transitional kindergarten instructional aide. I'm echoing a little bit of Dawn's sentiments, but from my perspective. In the 25-26 school year, every TK classroom in our district had an instructional aide to meet the 10-to-1 ratio mandated by law. This school year, as of this evening, there's over 20 vacancies currently listed for the TK classrooms across the district. We will be starting the school year off immediately out of compliance, as there are not even 20 instructional aid subs to choose from for those vacancies. I stood before you multiple times last school year warning of this. The cuts that were made to save money are going to end up costing the district even more in fines. On top of that, several of the TK instructional aid employees that left the position due to the reduction of hours and moved to the IEP or special ed aid positions for a pay cut, come to find out, still do not have their school placements for Tuesday, as in they have nowhere to report to on Tuesday, the first day of school. You know where they could be reporting? To the transitional kindergarten classrooms that will be out of ratio on Tuesday. If the position had stayed at 6 hours and they were able to continue doing the job that they already held. I believe it is important that you understand the current impact of the decision that was made. So my question is, at this point, now what?
Thank you.
Ellie Graves, followed by Imelda Martinez.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Ellie Graves. I am a transitional kindergarten teacher at Leonardo da Vinci, and I've also come before you multiple times to talk about the legal jeopardy that this district is now facing. Before it was a potential, now it's reality. We will be out of compliance on Tuesday. There's no aide positions filled. From my personal aide, it wasn't posted until last week internally, for internal employees only, which nobody's applied for as far as I know. It will then have to be reposted for all clear employees to be done, and I'm sure that was contractual, that had to be done, but why the delay in posting positions that they knew in May were vacant because people took other positions has caused an unnecessary delay, which could mean unnecessary fines with a district that already can't afford any more fines or any more of that kind of thing. At the beginning of the year, there were 40 people changing their positions for to a 6-hour position. The reality is people were working for the benefits, which I do understand are expensive, but nobody works a 3.5-hour job for, minimum wage very rarely. I actually have a parent who really wanted to do the job. She actually applied to be a substitute back in May so we could get her in because of this problem, and they have never called or hired her to become a substitute for TK. So that actually causes even more of a problem. So again, mirroring Bree and Dawn, this was a foreseeable problem, and I'm not sure if you guys were aware of it, and we are asking you to try to fix it because we will be out of compliance as of Tuesday for a qualified aide in the room. I'm sure the principals will be happy to put in a yard duty or a human body so we're in compliance, but that is not proper teaching.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, president, community members too. My name is Imelda Martinez. I'm actually from Community Parent Advocates. It's a nonprofit in Sacramento, and I actually help families navigate special education, disability services, public benefits, and advocate in civic engagement too. And I come before you not only as a parent, but I'm also a community health worker in training and someone who has had the privilege to also be working directly with our students in the district. I actually was recently released from my position as a para through an agency, which now I will be applying through EdJoin for these positions that we're hearing about today. And so while that chapter ended, I do see an opportunity for applying and continue the future with SAC Unified. But over the past years, I have supported these families through IEPs, connecting them with services, and also preparing for school meetings, becoming very civic engaged with and advocating for their student. And I've also collaborated not only with schools and other organizations, but I help bridge that gap between the services and the families that we're serving. And so I've listened to the public comments, I've heard the ongoing fulfillment for these vacancies, but I know firsthand how valuable paraprofessionals are to teachers, to students, and to our communities. And these professionals are often consistent support for students that we rely on every single day. And particularly for the families that navigate special education, the parents want to be partners. They want to have that clear communication, access to information, and opportunities to collaborate with us. And I believe SAC Unified has the incredible opportunity to continue building this trust by investing both in people and and the people that serves the district through my nonprofit. And I also will be contributing more on my mission. But thank you for your time and your leadership. And I'm glad I'm here today in front of you all. I know I've spoken with you through other organizations and ways, but I'm happy to show face today. Thank you so much.
No more public comment.
Moving on to 8.0 consent agenda. Do we have a motion? Moved by Member Rhodes, seconded by Member Ibarra. Oh, public comment? No? Okay. Student preferential vote?
Aye.
Member Jean?
Aye.
Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Navarro?
Aye.
Member Rhodes?
Aye.
Member Singh?
Aye.
Member Ibarra?
Aye. 9.0 communications, 9.1 employee organization reports, SCTA.
Good evening, members of the board, Board President Jean, and Superintendent McCarn. I'm Nikki Davis-Milevsky, President of the Sacramento City Teachers Association. If anyone in attendance or watching this meeting has not read the district's appeal of the decision of the SCOE-appointed fiscal advisor to rescind our MOU with the district, you really should. The 11-page appeal fully documents the complete ineffectiveness and massive overreach of retiring SCOE Superintendent Dave Gordon and his appointed outside fiscal crisis profiteer, Luz Caceres, the founder of Lucid Partners, Inc., a for-profit consultant who apparently can only get work by helping to drive districts further into insolvency. While serving as the fiscal advisor in Santa Rosa, Caceres received $76,000 pay increase on top of her already $111,000 part-time salary as she pushed for sweeping layoffs that would have increased class sizes and left thousands of students without a permanent teacher. During her time providing the same services in Oakland, Caceres was paid a salary of $32,000 a month. There, her school closure plan received harsh criticism from the California State Attorney General Rob Bonta for disproportionately impacting Black and low-income elementary students, as well as high-need students with disabilities. As the district's appeal makes clear, the SCOE-appointed fiscal crisis profiteer is more interested in trying to get concessions from educators at all levels of the organization after the district goes into receivership, rather than doing everything she can to help this district remain independently governed by a democratically elected school board. I also want to call attention to the statement put out days ago by the Black Parallel School Board, noting that this democratically elected school board is a majority of leaders of color, and so is our superintendent. The appeal lays out to the excruciating detail how the fiscal crisis profiteer, Dave Gordon and SCOE, have repeatedly failed this district. Apparently, Dave Gordon's definition of helping the district is to do everything he can to drive us into receivership. He should be embarrassed, but we all know he has no shame. How else would one explain why he keeps hanging on, drawing a generous taxpayer salary, pontificating and misleading the public from the comfort of his Mather field office? Repeatedly, Dave Gordon keeps saying the big lie that paying the health care retiree benefits out of the OPEB, which is exactly the purpose that that fund was created for in the first place, would have to be repaid with interest. As the district appeal letter makes clear, as does the MOU, there is no repayment requirement, only in Gordon's twisted imagination. The loan that would have to be repaid, however, and with interest, is a loan from the state if the district were to go into receivership. Enough about Dave Gordon. Looking forward to his long overdue retirement, and the district will move forward with or without him. The reality is that despite the best efforts of SCOE, Figmat, and the fiscal crisis profiteer to sabotage this district, the district has a plan and pathway moving forward. We want to welcome back the Chief Business Officer, Gerardo Castillo, and look forward to working with him, Superintendent McCarn, and the democratically elected school board to make Sac City the destination district for our region in California. Thank you.
Thank you. SEIU. TCS. Teamsters. UPE. All right, moving on to 9.2, student member report.
Good evening, everyone. Next Tuesday, August 11th, we will be welcoming our students and families back to school. We're looking forward to having both our students and families in our school communities. And as school starts back up again, I welcome all of our board members to tour our school sites with me at the beginning of the year. I'm looking forward to meeting our students and communities as I visit our elementary, middle, and high schools throughout the year. I'd also like to welcome the Board of Education's new student intern, Beza. Stand up and wait for us. Beza is a junior at C.K. McClatchy High School and will be working with our board specialist, Danielle Driscoll, and the rest of our Board of Education. It's thanks to ELOP funding through the State of California's Expanded Learning Opportunities Program that we are able to fund this intern position and many other after-school programs to support youth development and also student success. Welcome, Beza. Finally, I'd like to share an update on behalf of the Student Advisory Council. We are excited to be holding our retreat tomorrow to get to know one another and the backgrounds that we come from. I'm proud to say that all high schools in SUSD will be represented in the Student Advisory Council with 24 members of diverse ethnicities and backgrounds. Diversity is meant to be celebrated. In the meantime, that's all from me. Happy back to school. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent report.
Thank you. Good evening. We are just days away from the start of the school year, August 11th. And we know that we have, for the past decade, worked to get to this moment of moving our calendar up to be in alignment with surrounding districts. We know that it has been tricky in trying to do some of those pieces, and we appreciate everyone and all the efforts in that. I encourage all of our families to check their inbox for a communication we sent this afternoon with all the important information that you need for the first day of school for most of our schools, August 11th. In the message, we ask you to complete the annual update so we have your most up-to-date contact information in the event of an emergency. We also ask you to review this year's parent-student handbook to review your rights and responsibilities. And we also need your help to protect critical funding for our schools by completing the LCFF application. This important application determines how much funding our district receives. So this year, we are laser focused on a number of things, including improving student attendance. Every day counts. Our staff has been preparing all summer long for this, and we are so excited to see you on Tuesday to start an amazing school year and experience for our students that we are all working so hard to ensure happens. That's it.
9.4, President's Report. I have 2 items this evening. I wanted to also, school starts Tuesday. And that means there's a lot of students that are not looking forward to alarms coming back, but are probably very much looking forward to getting to see all of the friends and the reconnections that happen. We have a lot of educators that have been slowly preparing and thinking through what they want to provide our students this year. And I wanted to draw attention to that space because right now on this dais, we spend a lot of time talking about the very adult things we have to talk about, specifically about the budget. And the truth is, we are a complex system, a beautiful, thriving, large organism. And this school year, we have 37,000+ students that are going to get educated. Mm-hmm. And we have around 5,000 folks that come every single day to be a part of that process. Mm-hmm. And I want to start by celebrating and thanking all of that, knowing that this is the heart of our democracy and the heart of our communities. And that's an amazing thing to get to be a part of. So welcome to Back to School all. And then the second big thing is at the board here, we've been having a lot of conversations about our board committees and how we can ensure that those are thriving spaces where community voice and input and passion are meeting with staff and the work that our educators are doing, and that those become spaces that can truly advise the board effectively. So Right now, I am announcing we're going to be sending out a Google form that'll be letting our community members know if you're interested in getting involved at a district level committee. Be looking for that Google form to let us know of your interest, and then your board member will connect with you about how to get you involved on a variety of our committees. So just wanted to let you know that is coming your way in the next few days. And that concludes my report. Information sharing by board members, 9.5. Member Ibarra.
Well, I just wanted to share, first and foremost, welcome back to the students at New Joseph Bonheim that had their first day of school Thursday of last week. I was able to go and join them for their morning movement on Friday morning. And it was awesome to see all of those kiddos excited and some very tired because they're getting back in routine. But just always nice to be at our schools. And the other thing I wanted to announce this evening is be in the know for our Community Advisory Committee and that space. They are determined to connect with as many families in a special ed space. And I want to just highlight that every month we have a community advisory committee. Last year we shifted from them all being here at the district to actually going out into our schools. So throughout the year you'll see that they're at different locations. August the 18th is our first one, and the first hour of every CAC meeting starts with office hours with our SELPA staff. So that is your place where you can get all of your questions answered around special education. We look forward to seeing you in the community advisory committee space soon.
Thank you, Member Ibarra. Member Singh.
All right. My announcement is that since school is coming around the corner, we're doing a back to school backpack giveaway and resource fair at Phoenix Green Park. G Park. Wait. All right. You guys can keep the August 8th. So Saturday at 9 a.m. until 11:30, we will have roughly 300 backpacks. Shout out Member Rhodes. We will be there. And so will the Refugee Enrichment and Development Association, so working with our refugee students and families who live in that area and in that community, and also with the Rose Family Center and We Got Next and Jakarta Movement. So it's an opportunity for me to wear my other hat as Director of Legal Services for Jakarta Movement, but also work with our kiddos and get them the backpacks they need. And then also, August 11th on Tuesday is orientation and registration night for Tahoe's parent participation preschool program. So as you know, our district has 2 parent participation in preschool programs, and Tahoe Elementary has one of them, and Edward Kelly is the other one. And I'm going to try to make it out at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. If you are interested, please come through. If I'm brave enough, I may become a parent who takes my child to parent participation in preschool this year. So if you want to come hang out with me, you can. So that's it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Singh. Member Rhodes.
Yes, we are starting school on Tuesday, and as I have 4 students now, my son graduated last year, but we have 4 that are getting prepared, changing their night owl ways to better wake up. I am fearfully looking forward to Tuesday and waking up with my little ones and getting them all to school on time. Goal for us, just for all my guys, my kids who actually, my daughter Beba, who actually watches these meetings, interesting enough. Our goal, Beba, is to get you to school on time every day. And that is for all of the niños, and that is on public record. So no, now that we're working very hard to get you to school on time. But no, this is exciting a year for me as a father. My son graduated, but then my daughter is going to 7th grade. And so, time is growing and really centers us on the work we do and our families that we impact. We're just not machines up here. We have families. We grew up here. We care. And so it's good to have that centering. Also, on tomorrow, we have our 2nd annual back-to-school pool party at Cabrillo Park. Free entry to the whole community, no matter where you stay. Come out to the south side of the city. Cabrillo Park pool in the Cabrillo Park neighborhood, and you can come in free. We're gonna have backpacks. food, music. It's a beautiful event. It always packs out. So we're inviting you to come join us on the south side of the city. On tomorrow, you don't have to be from the south side to be from the south side tomorrow. All right? So we invite everybody. Welcome back to school, guys. And that will be my time.
Is there a lifeguard on duty? Is it you?
No, so they're always lifeguard because we're partnering with the city of Sacramento. Let me tell partners, MyVang, City of Sacramento Community Schools, Rose Family, Greater Sacramento Urban League. All of the partners, thank you so much. Sarah Lynn and their team, thank you guys so much. You guys do phenomenal work in our district, and we really appreciate you. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Let's have fun.
Member Benjamin.
Yeah, so I just have a comment to kind of piggyback on what Member Yvonne was saying. You'll probably hear me say this every meeting going forward, which is in kind of bringing ourselves out of a tough time, it's about like transparency and truth. And so this is a call for our parents and our community. We need you on our committees, all right? We need you on our committees. We want you to have that transparency because we understand it builds trust. So you're gonna hear me say this every time. We need you, until we get all these committees filled, you're gonna hear me say this every meeting. We need you on our committees. When that, link goes out tomorrow or email, please sign up for these committees. What it does is it allows us to be transparent because more parents and people in the community have the information. And then we can create that shared vision. So I just have a comment on that. Please sign up for these committees. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to 10.0, public hearing. 10.1, this is our initial public hearing for charter renewal for Language Academy of Sacramento.
Which one's not? Okay, thank you. All right, good evening, President Jean, members of the board, and Superintendent McCarn. My name is Dr. Leah Clorty, Instructional Assistant Superintendent. Part of my job is overseeing innovative schools, so I'm here tonight. It's the initial public hearing on the charter renewal for the Language Academy of Sacramento. So on June 15th, the Language Academy of Sacramento submitted a petition to renew its charter. It is requesting to renew the term of its charter, which expires on June 30th, 2027. The purpose of the public hearing is to consider the support for the petition from Language Academy of Sacramento's teachers, employees, parents, and community. Staff are currently reviewing the submitted petition. Following the review of the petition and this public hearing, the governing board of the school district shall either grant or deny the charter within 90 days of receipt of this petition. That decision is scheduled to occur at the September 3rd, 2026 board meeting. The governing board of the school district shall publish all staff recommendations, including the recommended findings, at least 15 days before the public hearing, at which the governing board of the school district will either grant or deny the charter. Staff is scheduled to publish this report by August 19th, 2026. So tonight I have Eduardo de Leon here, the Executive Director of Language Academy of Sacramento, and he will be given the remainder of the time for this agenda item to present to the board with public comment and board discussion to follow. Thank you.
I'm gonna jump in fast because I don't want to go over time. Hello, everyone. Good evening, Superintendent McCarn, President Jean, and members of the Sac City Unified School District Board. My name is Eduardo de Leon, or Lalo. I'm the Executive Director of the Language Academy, also known as La Academia de Idiomas de Sacramento, also known as LAS. And I'm here today with the team from the Jaguar community and hoping to share some information with you about our school. So as an introduction to our community, the following are some big ideas that I would like to highlight about LAS. Prior to 2004, members of the Fruit Ridge Elementary two-way Spanish immersion community came together under a very different political context, and with support from the larger community, on February 19th, 2004, the Sac City Board unanimously approved our initial petition. It was in that same year in August that we opened with 228 students serving students in grades K through 6. As we prepare to enter our 23rd year, we now have grown and we can count 637 students. We're serving them in grades TK through 8th grade. Throughout this time, we have remained committed to the research base that guides our program, ensuring that 100% of all LAS students have the opportunity to develop proficiency in English and in Spanish. We have implemented a 90-10 dual immersion model for all of our students, so there isn't a track where somebody isn't learning that second language. In addition, we have continued to honor our original school community by providing priority access to families that reside in the 95820 zip code. Today, the majority of our families live in the Oak Park neighborhoods and those neighborhoods that are listed there on the slide. Throughout the last 22 years, our goal has always remained to provide our Jaguares with an optimal bilingual education, and this is why our mission emphasizes biliteracy, confidence, the ability to lead and to critically think, especially given our current political context. As shared, we currently count 637 students in grades TK through 8, 10% of which qualify for special education services, 38% of which are English language learners, and then a couple of other important highlights that we have continued to meet our 95% or higher average daily attendance rate and continue to serve a high percentage of unduplicated students. The following visual is one that each member, I'm going to say that again because I want it to be heard. The following is a visual that each member of our community is very familiar with. At LAS, when we talk about academics, our focus is always on growth and our eyes are always on an upward trajectory. As you can see, we divide the biliteracy journey into 3 stages. At TK through 3rd, they are emerging. 4th through 6th, they are expanding. And at 7th through 8th, our students have entered stage 3, progressing towards full biliteracy. And most importantly, the stage where we have consistently observed that our students perform at or above their peers in English-only programs. The following graphs are intended to show how we study this growth over time and in a single year. In looking at the growth of our cohorts over time, we have adopted the following, or this visual. And I'm going to keep it simple. I don't expect you to read all the numbers, but simply speaking, each cohort or each colored line represents a cohort of students over the course of their time at LAS. And if the research and actions we have implemented at LAS are effective, these lines should follow the upward trajectory. As you can see, as our cohorts near stage 3, or grades 7th and 8th, they continue to grow in English language arts. Here is the same graph with a focus on cohort growth in mathematics over time. Again, we are able to see that what has been presented as theory in the research is being realized at LAS. Here we can observe that our students continue on in their upward trajectory. An additional way that we view data at LAS is in a single year. In this case, we are able to highlight that by the end of stage 3, LAS students consistently achieve at or above the performance levels of their peers in English language arts, all the while, and I'll emphasize this one, all the while they are learning an entirely different language, right? So this is showing you English, but they also are developing proficiency in Spanish. The same can be said for math. The practice of analyzing student data is a fundamental part of LAS culture, and it is threaded into every step we take, always ensuring that the decisions we make remain student-centered. As I highlighted, LAS serves a high percentage of English learners. This graph displays the performance of our English learners and long-term English learners, or LTELs, as compared to those in the state. While we strive to have even higher percentages of students progressing, we can attribute many of these gains to an exceptionally well-trained instructional staff and constant reference to research that ensures we are implementing the best practices in dual language education. This work has been led by an internal team of experts that represent various grade levels. They have helped to ensure that we remain current in our practices, that we celebrate the growth of each child, and most importantly, that we are articulating across each of our programs. This shows that we maintain maximum enrollment, we have strong ADA, and we continue in a consistent way to serve a high unduplicated pupil count. As we near the end of this presentation, I am most proud to share that the majority of students and families that come to LAS stay at LAS. On average, 85% of the students that enroll as early as TK through first grade will remain with us until their promotion from 8th grade. On the teacher end, 66% have been at LAS for 5 years or more, and 16% of them have committed more than 20 years as part of our Jaguar community. These numbers help bring to life the real magic that surrounds our school. This commitment to creating a safe and welcoming school environment translates to low suspension numbers for all of our subgroups, as evidenced by this graph. We attribute this to the collective efforts of our Jaguar community. From a robust MTSS system focused on early detection and strong interventions, to our Concilio de Familias or parent council that brings our community together. All of these things help to ensure that we can create a positive school climate. In closing, we would like to lift up the voices of students, parents, and staff who in this past year participated in our annual survey at an average rate of 95%. Over the last 2 years, an average of 94% of students have declared that they like LAS, while more than 98% of them have stated that they value learning in Spanish. 98% of our parents responded that they would recommend LAS, while in this past year, 100% of our teachers stated that they would recommend LAS. As we end, I would like to acknowledge the Jaguar community members that are present tonight. They are there. Hello, Jaguar community. Ooh, so good. Es que they were more when I turned around. Gracias a cada uno de ustedes por estar aquí presentes y mostrar su energía jaguar. We would also like to acknowledge the Sac City staff and board. For over 22 years, the LAS and Sac City teams have worked in collaboration, have maintained strong communication, and have always kept kids first. Thank you. As the executive director, I can share that I have been with LAS since our inception, not as executive director. I began as a teacher, then moved on to leadership, and there is no other school community that I would want to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
We have 5 speakers on this topic. We begin with Annabella Harnaez, followed by Malazia Haywood, and then Yolanda Saka.
Hello, everyone. My name is Annabella Hernais, and I'm currently entering my final year at the Language Academy of Sacramento, also known as LAS. From my perspective, LAS is a very welcoming school community to be a part of. As a younger sibling of a Language Academy alumni, I got to experience firsthand what it was like to be in a caring, educational, and bilingual environment. Some of my earliest memories at the Language Academy would have to be accompanying my mom and younger brother during my mom's many volunteering hours. I can clearly remember sitting in classroom libraries and even occasionally joining story time when invited. LAS is a place I've always felt safe, challenged, and heard. One of my many positive experiences include my time on the student council and in the leadership course. While on student council, I have learned how to work in both teams big and small to accomplish many different projects. In the leadership course, I got to apply some of that experience on more hands-on roles, working with students, staff, parent council, and sometimes even our school board. Some of my most memorable times at the Language Academy would have to be our Dia de los Muertos celebration, Dia del Niño, and Winter Festival. These 3 events are not only fun, but they bring together so many people beyond our school community. These events have offered guests, local vendors, and even donations from local businesses. These events also allow LAS to showcase the amazing students and school we have. The Languages Academy of Sacramento brings together so many communities, but we also help when needed most. LAS hosts an annual Ronald McDonald House Drive, gathering supplies for the families staying at the Ronald McDonald House. This partnership is one example of how LAS cares and connects with people outside our school community. Soy muy orgullosa de ser un jaguar, and I can confidently state that I'm hopeful you will all see how wonderful our school truly is and allow us to pass the charter for this next cycle. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Good evening. My name is Malaysia Haywood, and I'm a proud member of the Language Academy class of 2026. As a student who attended LAS for 10 years, I can confidently say I know the ins and outs of LAS. LAS is a place where you don't make friends, you gain family members. A place where you learn to read, to write, but most importantly, you learn how to grow. A memory I'll never forget is 8th grade promotion. To be in that room and see all the emotions on people's faces made me realize there's no other place like LAS, a place where teachers know you by name and truly want what's best for you, where you learn and thrive in not 1 but 2 languages. As I enter a new school, I continue to carry everything I learned and all the memories I made at LAS. A value I stick to the most is to embrace who you are. At LAS, we learn to stay true to ourselves, to embrace our cultures, and to be confident in any and all abilities that we have. Now, as an alumni, I see all the things I took for granted as a student. It is my hope that LAS goes on for many years to come, so that students from all over can embrace who they are, form bonds that will last a lifetime, and experience what it is like to be a jaguar. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not as tall as the others. I'm going to lower this a little bit. Buenas noches. Good evening, members of the board. I am here tonight as a parent in strong support of the Language Academy of Sacramento. I have 2 children, a junior in high school within the Sac City Unified School District, and a current 8th grader embarking on his final year at LAS. My oldest child earned the State Seal of Biliteracy through the foundation built at this school.
Very cool.
And both of my children have consistently excelled in math curriculum that is a full year ahead of standard grade levels. Years ago, I strategically chose this school because I chose where to purchase a home so that we would have priority enrollment to attend this school. This school aligns with our family's educational goals, and there was no other choice. When you walk into a LAS classroom, you see high-quality, active learning happening seamlessly in 2 languages. For families within Sacramento City Unified seeking this exact model, LAS offers a vital and irreplaceable path to academic success. As Mr. De Leon shared, the data reflects that I am far from alone. Families actually seek out this school for what it provides: a deep connection to cultura, a supportive comunidad, and rigorous instruction. The dedication of the entire team, from the supervision staff to the administration and teachers, is visible every single day. Closing this school would eliminate a critical asset for our community. I urge the board to recognize the immense value of LAS and ensure it remains open to serve our children. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Graciela Castañeda, and I've had the privilege of teaching at the Language Academy of Sacramento for the past 18 years. I am also the proud mother of 4 children who currently attend LAS. I feel that families choose LAS because they believe in our mission. And as a teacher, I have the privilege of seeing that mission come to life every day. Each student that walks into my classroom brings unique strengths, challenges, and dreams. Through our charter, we as teachers have been given the flexibility to meet those individual needs through innovative teaching, building meaningful relationships, and having high expectations for our students. I am honored to work alongside exceptional educators who create an environment where our students feel supported, challenged, and inspired to succeed in 2 languages. LAS is like my second home, and I cannot imagine working anywhere else. When I share to others that I'm a middle school teacher, I often get that, oh, you poor thing, or how do you teach that grade level? But in all honesty, the students are smart, independent, and eager. And that's thanks to having a positive school culture at LAS that makes all the difference. When students, families, and colleagues work together and come together like we are here today, we create an environment where both teachers and students can thrive. Renewing our charter is about preserving opportunities for students to excel academically, develop as leaders, and grow as individuals. Over the years, I've watched students become leaders through student council, through community service, and meaningful experiences. I've seen lasting impact on our LAS students like Annabella, Malaysia, and Cesar, whose experiences reflect the learning and opportunities that our school provides every day. As a teacher and as a mom, I respectfully ask that you support the renewal of our LAS charter so we can continue to make a difference in the lives of our students, our families, and our community. Thank you for your time and your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you. Perfect.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Cesar Piña Calderon, and I am a proud Language Academy Class of 2017 alum. I first entered the Language Academy in 2008 as a kindergartner from an immigrant family whose primary language was Spanish. Candidly, these factors could be seen as limiting to my future and the career fields that I could pursue as a first-generation Mexican-American. However, with this background, the Language Academy gave me the tools needed for my future. In my 9 years at Language Academy, I had the pleasure to be taught by some of the best and brightest educators in the state. What sets them apart and made them critical to my success both in and out of the classroom was not just their fierce commitment to education, but their ability to teach me in 2 languages. I was given the resources and the community needed to allow me to push myself beyond my limits. I know this to be the case for every student that walks through those doors as a Language Academy Jaguar. When I first entered LAS in kinder, it wasn't even in my mom's wildest dreams for me to be the first person in our family to attend university, much less for me to now to go on to intern in a U.S. Senate office to help the Hispanic community. The Language Academy has helped make this possible. As Jaguares, we leave as part of an ever-expanding community that is unlike any I have ever seen before. These things that set Language Academy apart have been foundational and staples to its mission since its 2004 founding. I can unequivocally and without any reservation say, there is no place quite like the Language Academy of Sacramento. Thank you.
And board discussion. Member Benjamin.
Yeah, I'd just like to say I've had the opportunity to visit, right? It's kind of in my area, and I wore another hat and it was in the area too. And so I had a distinct opportunity to go by and visit and you know, get a tour by Lalo, and I was utterly impressed. I remember the school as a youngster as Marian Anderson, right? And so the history there, right, and the history of what you brought from Fruit Ridge Elementary School fits, right? It's under the shadow of this Aggie Square, right? It sits right below
we are
it.
surrounded by Aggie
You're
Square.
surrounded by Aggie Square, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's a perfect fit because it's a reminder of what community meets school, then learning happens, right? And that's what you developed there, and I'm just utterly impressed, and I look forward to supporting you further.
And I think I kind of heard a question, so I was going to just say that, yes, we are surrounded by Aggie Square. And when we moved to that site in 2010, we knew that that was going to be our reality. And so over the years, what we've done is built relationships. We meet on a monthly basis with reps from Aggie Square to talk about what events are happening at their place, what events are happening at ours. Is there something that we should be concerned with? And really just trying to build a really strong connection since we are so close.
Member Nangita.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Dr. Clarty and Executive Director De Leon. I'm really amazed by all the data that's being presented today. It's really amazing that we have a school that can cater to the needs of our community, such as dual immersion learning in both Spanish and English. That's truly amazing. It's incredibly important to learn and to retain different languages because culture is not only resilience, but also resistance, and it's such a beautiful thing. So thank you for giving our communities this opportunity. And I would also like to visit this school. It sounds so amazing, so if we can set up a time, I would love to come visit. But thank you so much.
Member Singh.
All right, well, I also need to visit because we talked about that, but I have not visited, but I will be there. I think I've told some folks up here and maybe in the community that before I went to law school, I was a high school teacher and I taught a foreign language. So I taught Punjabi as a foreign language, and now raising a 2-year-old who I have actively not taught English yet, which should be fine. We are teaching him his mother tongue. Right, and I think that's the biggest part is that you have students who are learning their mother tongue, and nothing is more powerful than retaining your culture, your language, your community's connection. That even though we live in this country, we have ties to nations and communities and ethnicities and backgrounds from around the world. And what you're doing here is you're making it easier for community to connect to their language, to their mother tongue, to what's most important, what keeps them going, and it's what makes it unique. So I would love to visit, and I also appreciate the data, and it's just wonderful to see that you have built such a powerful academy dedicated to your community, and I look forward to seeing how I can support you and all the work that you're doing. And I appreciate the community that showed up because we're running early, and it looks like everybody just popped in right now. So really appreciative of all of you coming out tonight and showing your support for your school. So thank you so much.
Member Navarro.
Yeah, so 3 things that were impressive. So the community you got going on, obviously. Also the data was very impressive. Also the suspension rates, because that was what jumped at me. Obviously the research is there about bilingual education and just being a great model for teaching. And then I was really impressed with the mascot. It has a good ring to it. Jaguares, especially in Spanish, is really cool. So
We call our
congratulations.
mascot Manchas.
Awesome. That was funny. But yeah, I would also like to come visit at some point. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Member Ibarra.
I want to echo the gratitude for your great presentation. It was great to see how you put it together. The data was really impressive. And One of the schools in my area is also similar to the academy, and I got to go to their very first Spanish spelling bee at the end of the last school year. So I'd love any opportunities that you all have for me to learn and see what you all are doing at the Language Academy. It would be an honor to be in that space, because it's good to network and partner more than anything, because you are still part of this district. So thank you.
Member Rhodes.
Lalo Saman. No, this is always great to see your presentations. Anytime that you've come up here, you've been had the community activated. You've brought data forward, and you take the quantitative and qualitative and marry them so beautifully that everyone can get a purely larger scale view of what you guys do. And so as a board member, I really appreciate these type of presentations because it really gets to the heart and the why and the data at the same time. So thank you for that. And then outside of that, I think that dual immersion education is just very important. All of my children has went through dual immersion programs. Obviously in Area 5, there was Edward Kimball and Cesar Chavez. All my kids have the opportunity to go through those programs, and you see the outcomes for that. As for me, as my children being first generation here in the States on their mother's side, like them having access to the language, my son and my daughters, we decided to teach them Spanish first at home. And so them being able to go into kindergarten, them being able to track that and continue having a connection is important, right? And I think that sometimes people also view these type of schools as just one culture. And that the broad and the beauty of what your school site actually looks like is very diverse. And so not only having Hispanic Latino families, but you have a wide array of families there as well that are getting the access and opportunity to enhance and advance their opportunities into the future for careers. And so I would say that these type of things are important, and I just want to say thank you for that. And I look forward to next couple of months, you guys coming back and we having a whole nother conversation. And I remember, I think it was my first year that I was on the board here. I was able to come and speak at you guys' graduation.
Yes.
And talk about this being bilingual and how that's a superpower. And I would love to come back and continue to be a part of the beautiful community that you have there, and know that my personal self, I'm here, listo para ayudarte, apoyarte.
Gracias.
All right, I actually have two observations. One is a question for you. You mentioned 100% credentialed teaching staff, which I very much appreciate because too many charter schools are not prioritizing that. So that's great. Are the teaching staff predominantly multi-subject, single subject, or are they and I'm assuming all are B-Clad?
Predominantly, yes, and predominantly multi-subject. So we work and have been working really, really hard to just develop really strong relationships with Sac State. That's our strongest partner because we've been working with them since the inception, but we also work with UC Davis. So both universities know that we are a school that they can send their teachers that are developing their bilingual skills. I think, in this next semester, we probably have about 8 student teachers that will be on campus. And what I tell them jokingly is that this is the longest interview of your life.
It is.
Because by the time we get to the end of that year, we've definitely get to know these folks, get to know their skills, and then they get to work with, really strong teachers.
Excellent. And they are all B-Clad?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
I just, saying 100% credentialed, wanted to make sure that, that's fantastic. The other thing I found fascinating is as you're looking at your English language arts and mathematics fiscal year 25, how the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders have such really great scores. And while comparing the grade levels is apples to oranges, because it's the single student cohort, so we want to definitely track them. But the idea that the students are getting a consistent education from year to year and that you're building and addressing to get them to that high achieving at those grade levels, I think is impressive. And it's definitely, we got to keep an eye on the grade 4 and 5 cohorts. They're a little low, but I have, looking at the other data, I'm like, I think you guys are up to that task.
Yeah, no, and I think we could, in the future, if you want, we could do a deeper dive. I mean, there's something to say about some of those kids who have been, for example, in math, have been learning math in Spanish. And it's only after 4th grade that they will start to learn math in English. And so it's looking at the data through a filter sometimes, depending on the subject matter that we're considering. But yeah, still work in progress.
The state test is in English, so
Yes,
that makes
yes.
sense that those are the factors you're looking at. So, excellent. And then my last question was predominantly for our staff. I've always appreciated how Goldman gave us a really wonderful checklist that kind of broke everything down and was just confirming you'll be working on something like that for us between now and the next presentation.
Sure. I just need to find out what that
Find out
checklist
what that
was,
is.
and I
Excellent.
will do it.
Yeah. She's just put together a really wonderfully thorough snapshot that helps us really understand what it is that the charter school's doing and how we're working with them. So
Great.
I
I'll
look
reach
forward
out to her and find out what
Perfect.
that
We'll
is.
figure it out. Awesome. Thanks. Oh, you know what? Okay, he's going to help out. Sorry to put you on the spot about that. All right. Thank you so much. I turned my mic off. Moving on to 11.1, approve contracts report over $15,000. You were so ready. You were early. And we'll go ahead and take a 2-minute, chill while everyone kind of walks out. So, it's very loud. All right. We are on 11.1, approve contracts reports over 15 grand. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, President Jim, board members, Superintendent McCarn. This report, I want to give credit to the team. They have been working since May to have this report you have in front of you. So I want to make sure I don't get any credit for this, besides just being in front of you. This report includes all the contracts that the district we have tracking since May to this point. I want to point out the last 2 items in the cover page, the selling insurance and the dental vision. Those are we are selling insurance, so we are selling insurance for dental and vision. So those are in this report, but it's just really our insurance for dental and vision. And the other part is the part of the restricted portion, that $33.9 million. That includes almost a half of that, like almost $14.7 million, are related to spend the learning opportunity programs, the ACEs, the after school portion. Those how we operate, so that's very restricted to provide those services. And I have here Mr. Robert Aldama. I participated in the last meeting when we were reviewing that, but they have been working on this, like what to approve, based on our budget situation. We have been scrutinized all our contracts, and this is the final report that we're here, and we are available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do you want to do that now? Yeah, Superintendent McCarn.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Gerardo and Robert and board. I just want to reiterate something that our new CBO, Castillo, said, and that is the level of oversight, review, questions, follow-up that's asked for each of these contracts. The additional process involves a number of layers of checking, confirming. Some of these were to come forward to you earlier, some earlier have not come forward to you at all, as we are looking really carefully at every dollar spent, and that we're asking you to approve. So I just want you to know that that new process, that additional lens and layer has been put in place. Again, we're happy to answer any questions, though.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
We do have one speaker, Carl Pinkston.
Welcome.
It's going to be hard coming behind Gerardo. My man is back, so I'm happy today. I'm Carl Pinkston, Black Parallel School Board. I just want to, I think the superintendent articulated part of what I was going to say is that as part of the oversight, particularly I'm looking at the contracts that are related to youth development. In particular, the question becomes as to what are the metrics that we're using to determine the outcome of the youth development department. I would like to see not only the good things that youth development does, but given the fact we're in a very tight financial situation, I think we would like to know the connection or the intersection of how youth development will help in academic performance. If they cannot demonstrate an increase in academic performance, my feeling in that would be, I don't know if I can renew the contract. Okay, that's number one. The other is, as the question is, the cost per students that participate in their program. Is it realistic? So I know in the particular youth development department is more or less it's restricted funds, which means that they have fund and it's going to be used for that particular purposes, and that you're not using unrestricted funds in the youth development department. But I'm looking at every dollar now has to demonstrate that we're going to get, the kids are going to receive a much better outcome than we have been receiving, particularly in our low-income areas. For example, Leotata, Floyd, Rosa Parks, even Luther Burbank, all these different schools, Hiram Johnson, all these different schools that have a disproportionately high number of after-school programs. We need to see some kind of connection going forward. So, and then lastly, as part of the board oversight, and this is related to Gerardo, is that we need to have additional redundancy as to whether or not they are actually doing the work. So we need a mid-year matrix and evaluation on every single thing we do now, because we cannot spend the money at the same level that we have been doing in the past. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Board member comment, Member Nangita.
Thank you so much. I would also like to comment on youth development's kind of funding as well. I would like to say that I'm very happy to see that a lot of this money is going to the Summer Matters program at our disproportionately affected communities. I know that Summer Matters, in tandem with youth development, has provided employment for our high school students so that they're able to get employed, get, kind of job experience, because, we can say that jobs are entry level, but they do need some experience. So I'm grateful to youth development that they are kind of providing that. I would also like to say that youth development funds the positions that me, Beza, and the Student Advisory Council sit in, and I'm very grateful to that as well. I know that's not on the contract support, but I think when we talk about youth development and the amazing things that have come out with that, I do agree that also we should have some accountability with that as well. But they have provided amazing things and amazing opportunities for our students and our communities as well. So I'd just like to throw that out there. Thank you.
Member Singh.
So I want to start with just acknowledging that this, for us to, any of our board members looking at this, that there are things on here that we obviously do need to get paid that are from the prior year. But I want us to maybe look on, as a board, look on page 1. If you go down there, as an example of cost savings that we are currently undertaking, if you look at what was originally Our original contract amount for outside legal services was $825,000. We are paying $2.4 million for outstanding outside legal, correct, to our, F3. And it also speaks to, I really appreciate that tonight we've hired general counsel. So these are the kind of steps that we need to take to showcase that we are reviewing, reading, understanding the deep costs that come with a lot of the issues that we've been dealing with as a district. So part of fixing this includes owning up to what has been done, but also finding better solutions for cost-effective ways of getting things done. I will also point out that if you look on page, and I'm only looking at unrestricted, I'm not even going through restricted, but some things that could help all of us hear this or see this. So for example, the second item on page 2 is related to technology. There's a vendor name of AT&T. Obviously, this isn't related to our district cell phone use, which we have talked about removing, but the district voice and data services, that's $850,000, just to get clarity on like what does that cover? If anyone wants to tell us, is that just our AT&T services for the district?
It's the data.
Just to keep us running?
Yeah, it's a data district-wide data requirements for that.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah. I think generally, I just want to appreciate everyone, especially staff, who is double, triple, quadruple looking at what we can do, and really trying to make sure that we are spending as conservatively as possible. There are things I see on here, and a reminder to community, like you do need tires, you do need radios, you do need OEM parts for buses. This is also what helps us make sure we have a fleet that's running, transportation department. So I'm saying this all out loud because sometimes it's easy to look down this list and be like, oh my God, all this money. Well, things must be spent. We are in charge of making sure kids are getting to school safely, getting home safely, tracking, all that good stuff. So I just want to thank you all for putting in the work. I know that Chris and others have been doing a lot at our behest and our request to make sure that spending is minimized while also maintaining the very important costs that we must incur to keep this district not just running but thriving. So
yeah, I think it's important for the community to know the process to get to this report. There was a thing about 10 people getting together and back and forth. It's like, do we really need this? That was the lens that was analyzed. Do we need it, or is something that we just had done it in the past and we need it? So like that's kind of like when the minute participate, that was the lens. Do we need that? And then we just went back and forth. And there's many things that are not here because we say, well, we can do it without it. So I think I want to just say that.
I did have one more question, President Jean. Mr. Pinkston's suggestion, is that plausible? Is that possible to do a mid-year matrix that really showcases where we're at? Because you all are going to be giving us a monthly update on where we're at.
Especially the after-school programs. I have seen that done. That it's like at the beginning when they start, where the students start. You know, they do the evaluation and they say how much progress it is, because we don't want to be. It's not about just sports, you know. It's part of the academic, and it's part of the ACES programs. Want to provide that environment, so I think that's a great idea to do that. This is not something that I will that I do, but it's possible. Yeah, it's not even, you know.
Member Ibarra.
Thank you for this presentation. I have a question. And I'm asking this because a constituent asked me and I didn't have an answer. So you may not have the answer tonight, and that's totally understandable, but I still want to ask, okay? So when looking at the contract spending, it was brought to my attention that under a 6,000 code, there's agreements that total almost 46 million. But when looking at the SELPA plan, page 4 of 8, there's only 40,000 in the 6,000 code that's in the cell of that plan that's budgeted. So if we can just get an explanation of that for clarity.
We will review that and get back to you.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't know about. So okay, we will review that.
Thank you.
Member Rhodes, you grabbed part of what I was going to share. the fact that we are still cleaning up some things of the past, which is frustrating. But I'm so glad we are now moving forward in new ways. Sorry, what did I say? Member Singh said it. Member Singh, thanks for what you shared. It is, my brain is tired. And school hasn't started yet. Anyway, yes, thank you for saying that. But looking at how we are moving forward is wonderful.
My question was for the next
Okay. Okay. We can arm wrestle over it. The other thing I wanted to point out, so I really appreciated Mr. Pinkston's comment, because it's been part of the conversations we have too, of as we start getting more specific and more like what are we approving and why and when, it needs to be equitable. It needs to be priority for the values and the needs of our students. It needs to not just be, for lack of a better way to say it, favoritism, right? It needs to be clear, this is why we are approving this, this is why we are questioning this or not approving this. And so I look forward to the continued conversations and clarity on how that happens. And I wanted to point out an example on here already. It's on page, I think it's 8 of 10, but it got hold, so I can't see it. And it's at the very bottom. And it actually shows that youth development reduced a contract because they did not meet the required attendance for 3 of the schools. So just pointing out that like it's obvious work is happening before it gets to us. And I'm very excited about that. And I look forward to continued conversations and clarity on that work happening. And Superintendent McCarn.
Thank you. Member Ibarra, just so that I'm clear, and sorry if I'm the only one that's not, the 6,000 on page 10 of 10?
No, it wasn't. I believe Member Ibarra was talking about the next item.
Go for it. Go ahead.
Sorry. So the question, just because I want to make sure we can answer it.
Okay.
It is about is it page 10 of 10, the 6,500 ones at the end? Those 5?
In the 6, I can give you the specifics.
Okay.
I'll follow up with the specific ones.
Okay,
But
perfect.
the total amount,
It's different.
individually, it doesn't go over 15,000, but the total it summed up to like
I
46
see.
million.
I see. Thank
Yeah.
you for clarifying.
Yeah. So it was this one.
So this one here?
All right. With no other comment, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Member Singh. A second. Second by Member Navarro. Student preferential vote.
Aye.
Roll call vote.
Member Jean?
Aye.
Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Navarro?
Aye.
Member Rhodes?
Aye.
Member Singh?
Aye.
Member Ibarra?
Aye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to 11.2, 2627 Special Education Non-Public Agency and Non-Public School Contracts.
Good evening. President Jean, members of the board, Superintendent McCarn, and staff and community members. We're seeking approval of Agenda Item 11.2, approval of master contracts for non-public agencies and non-public schools. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, requires school districts to provide a free and appropriate public education, a FAPE, by implementing students' individualized education programs, IEPs, without delay. To meet this obligation, the district contracts with certified non-public agencies, NPAs, to provide specialized services when qualified staff are unavailable. The district is also required to maintain a continuum of special education services, including non-public schools. We are required to offer non-public schools for students whose intensive educational, behavioral, emotional, or medical needs cannot be appropriately met in district programs. MPS contracts enable the district to maintain required special education services during staffing shortages. I meant NPA contracts, I apologize. I misspoke and said NPS. Our NPA contracts enable us to provide and maintain required special education services during staffing shortages, and our non-public school placements and contracted services are necessary to provide FAPE for students who needs exceed available district programs. While these services generally cost more than comparable in-district services, they are legally required to ensure students receive the supports and placements identified in their IEPs. In order to ensure effective fiscal oversight, we have implemented the following practices in regards to these contracts. Number one, we are negotiating rates with our vendors. Number two, the expenditure of these funds are based on student needs, not all available funding. Number three, we are ensuring that the expenditures are necessary, compliant, and supported by documentation. Number four, we provide appropriate services to students so that they can benefit from their education. Number five, continuing to develop a good relationship with our partners in human resources and fiscal services in an effort to monitor hiring and ensure vacant positions are monitored monthly and contracts adjusted accordingly. Number six, maintaining compliant IEPs, addressing parent concerns, and reducing our California Department of Education complaints and Office of Administrative Hearing cases. Number seven, monitoring our budgets monthly as a proactive approach to fiscal accountability. Number eight, balancing our fiscal responsibility with the district's obligation to provide a free and appropriate public education. Our recommendation is that you approve the 26-27 contracts with special education non-public agencies and non-public schools, and now we can take questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
We have 3 speakers on this topic. Jennifer Womack, followed by Imelda Martinez, and then Carl Pinkston.
Can I say something before the two? What Ms. Ybarra was talking about was supposed to be this document. I did notice that they didn't put
Can
down
you
the
speak
breakdown.
into the microphone?
I did notice that they didn't put the breakdown in the supporting documents. They only put the 3 links, but it is for this one. Hello, Superintendent McCarn, President Jean, and board members. Most of last year's meetings included repeated requests from you for greater financial transparency, but tonight you're being asked to approve something that is anything but transparent. All 3 of the links that are in the supporting documents all go to the exact same Google Sheets document. There's no individualized information for any. There's 0 transparency. The sheets do not show how many students will receive services, how many providers are being contracted, or how any of these totals were calculated. There's no cost per student, per service, per hour, per provider, nothing. Last year, FCMAT raised a serious concern about the conflict of interest created when the same vendor evaluates students and provides services based on those evaluations. That issue was brought directly to this board. Yet the exact same practice is being presented to you for approval for this next school year. And now the financial discrepancy is enormous. The SELPA budget that you just approved on July 23rd allocated in the 6,000s codes only $40,000 for their budget. With this agreement all totaled up in, it was column N, $46 million for the service agreements, and they're all under code 6500. So here's the core questions. How did special ed department come up with these numbers for each NPA and or NPS when all the Google Sheets are identical? What data are these numbers even based on? How many students, how many providers, and how are these totals calculated? None of that information exists in the supporting documents you're being asked to approve. You can't call for transparency all year and then approve a $46 million in agreements with no underlying data, no individualized information, and no public accountability. This is not transparent budgeting, and it is not responsible governance. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon again. Thank you for letting me speak a second time. I really appreciate it. And I think we all can agree that transparency is very important. I've heard the board's discussion tonight on transparency, and so I really appreciate that. And my hope is now that we move from the agreement to accountability. So as you consider this item, I encourage the board to continue asking how these district systems are ensuring that the services approved here are actually being reached to every student in every possible way with IEPs. Policies and contracts are only successful when they result in a timely and high success and quality for support of our children in the classrooms. So I also encourage that the board tonight continue holding the district accountable for building sustainability on staffing solutions that are both physical responsible and also student-centered. And every dollar invested should ultimately improve outcomes for these students, strengthen our workforce in the future, and also reduce the disruptions in services whenever possible. Families notice when services are delayed, when communication is starting to break down, or when staffing changes affect their children's progress. And at the end of the day, this is about ensuring our students receive the support that they need. Every educator has the tools to succeed, and that every family can trust our district in delivering this commitment to the free, appropriate public education that we deserve. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Carl Pinkster from Black Parallel School Board. Jennifer took some of my presentation, so I will reiterate two things, or I'll bring to two things. One is in the spreadsheet, it has the resource code, but I need the object code. Okay, and there's a difference between the resource code and the object code, and Gerardo knows exactly what I'm talking about, because I need to know which one of these agreements are out of the 6,000 or the 1,000 series, because I've noticed an explosion in certificated. The other is there needs to be an oversight of some kind of metrics as to how you're going to assess the work, because I know from parents they have real problems with some of these non-public schools. So there's a real challenge, particularly in terms of outcome, the amount. But most importantly, as the board, I strongly suggest you not adopt this right yet, because I think you need to see what the service agreement for each one of those, or the samples that's going to be used that speaks to a certain group of providers. And secondly, you need to know what is, at the end of the day, the total cost that you approve, that you budget for. So you're asking to encumber something that you don't know what you've been budgeted for. So until you get a sense of what you have been budgeted for, then you can go back and say, okay, all of these are still within our budget, versus here's a list, and thus we want you to approve it, and then we come back 6 months or a couple of months later and you wonder why your budget is blown out of the water. Thank you.
Thank you. Board member discussion. Member Singh.
All right. So I think, firstly, thank you for the comments. I think you all know that this is an immensely important moment for our district, the balancing of the needs of our students while also controlling what I and hopefully others understand has been a major proportion of poor budgeting practices by some staff, which have led to some of the financial strain that we're seeing is through the special education funds. It's not about children not getting services. This is about us not budgeting properly for the needs of our kids, right? The ideas, and I say this respectfully, we need to see them, right? Those 8 things, I'm trying to remember what those 8 hopefully it was 8. If it was not, then I'm already not seeing it, right? I was trying to keep up. We need the visuals, not just for ourselves, but for community, for others, because I wanted to speak to at least 2 or 3 of them. The first is, I agree, we do need to see, I appreciate and respect the negotiation. We need to see it. We've already have so much of our staff being asked to literally prove contracts over $15,000. This falls into the same vein. If there's contracts, what can you negotiate? We need to be able to see how much you're saving, right? I would assume that our partners are willing to come down. I hope they're willing to come down, seeing the realities of our district. And then also these updates that Mr. Pinkston and others are bringing up, those numbers are going to help us stay on track. So I appreciate the monthly updates that we're going to get already, but imagine that you are going to have kind of an extra job of ensuring the updates that we're going to get will showcase how much staff is being used, how many folks are we having to contract out, because that's the only way we're going to be able to get a hold of getting, spending, making sure that we actually have staff in these positions. And only using outside contractors when it's absolutely necessary, right? Because every child truly does deserve an education. If we are not able to do it in the public education system, that's when we should be going to outside contractors, not because we simply are not staffing well enough to get folks in-house. Some of the things that parents usually talk about, and I agree, is building those relationships. When you have a staff member who's working with their child, you get to know them. You know that they're committed to the district. They're willing to be here long term. It's not the same outcome. They don't get to see, they might have a new paraprofessional in there next week or the week after. These children are the ones who deserve the most continuance of education, especially with their needs. So I'm just raising this that I do appreciate the 8 things that you've listed out. We just need those 8 things with like the math shown. Right, and respectfully, I would ask that if you can bring that back with some of that math at the next board meeting. I would be more comfortable. That way, folks are getting what they need, and you all are able to present and showcase your ideas more strongly. I would be more comfortable with moving this to 2 weeks from now, and then we can take action at that point.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Member Nangita.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the presentation. I'd just like to echo Member Singh's words on kind of seeing the full picture before we make a full decision, because there's a lot that I am unsure of. There's lots that are weighing on my mind. So I also would feel more comfortable to see the full picture presented next board meeting before I were to give this a stamp of approval, because I do think that if decisions are made prematurely, they will inevitably be a disservice to our students. So if that is possible, thank you so much.
Member Ibarra. No, you're last at the moment. I will, but. I'll say something at the end. Okay. Okay. All right, I had 2 questions. Is everything on this list written into current IEPs?
Yes.
So at the moment, these are the IEPs of students arriving on Tuesday, and these are the services that they need, like translation. If they can't hear, we've got translation services and aid services and one-on-one supports and various items.
Yes, absolutely.
So if
the
we don't approve
contracts
this
aren't approved,
tonight-
the services don't begin on Tuesday.
Right, if we don't approve tonight, we potentially, students on Tuesday are not getting the services they need.
Correct.
Okay. My next question, and this one's really big, is how are we building internal programs to better meet the needs of our students?
I think that's definitely an area of growth. One of the things that we really need to do is begin evaluating our continuum of services and really looking at the classrooms. And specifically where we want to start is in elementary school and looking at our non-public school students who are in elementary school, looking at the programs that we would identify that we want them to go back to, and then we would be looking in those classrooms to really build capacity. A lot of times what we used to see in the past when students were going to non-public school is that it's students who have aggressive behavior towards staff and other students, but we're seeing I believe situations where we have new staff in the classroom or not appropriately or well-trained staff. They're not receiving the training that they need. And so we need to build capacity in those classrooms for them to be able to receive the students back. Another thing that I see that we really need to work on, and that is because the non-public agency contract specifically is we really need to work on recruitment and retention, because right now we have 107.9 speech language pathologists, and we have 50 who are district employees. So all the rest of them are non-public agencies. And last year when we look at how many staff that we hired 12 new staff for this school year, but we had 4 retirees. So we only realized 8 net new additional speech language pathologists. So those are the 2 areas I would start.
I think the frustration is palpable.
Absolutely.
On the board. The feeling of we want to invest in these students, ensuring that each individual gets exactly what they need to succeed. We want to do that. It's hard to believe that we're truly investing in what's helping them succeed when we're seeing so much money go outside of our systems. Yes. And our employees who know the kids best, who are there in a way that MPAs and MPSs are just not. And so I think part of what I need to hear this year is, welcome to Sac City. What's the plan? Right? And welcome to your new gig. What's the plan? We have to start doing this differently. Because as I think you can sense, a lot of us are having a really hard time swallowing approving this. I really appreciate that you guys made this a separate agenda item so we could really discuss the concerns around this. I see that as a very strategic, yep, you gave us space to do that. And this is going to be a really hard vote. I honestly don't know where it's going to land right now. I'll go ahead and pause there and go to Michael Benjamin.
Thank you for putting this together. And again, we're in a place where we just can't afford to go backwards, right? And so part of what you all are experiencing is just kind of a distrust in, what has happened in the past. And so my question is the vacancies, right? And what efforts are being put forth to fill these vacancies? I personally get a lot of people in the public who have complaints about not getting callbacks, applications process delays, a lot of that stuff. And so what happens is, when you get that many people saying that, it kind of starts to look purposeful, right? So my question to you all is how do we get past this? We have all these positions open, yet not filled. And I know personally, I get calls all the time about applications. They haven't called me back. It's been 6 weeks. So where are we at with that?
Yeah, so we're going to partner closely with HR. We're forming a collaborative relationship with them so that both sides of the house can come together and make sure that applicants are pushed through EdJoin, interviewed promptly, hired, and onboarded. So that's going to take a collaboration between several departments. But I think one thing we're all on the same page about is that we want our kids to stay in the district. It's the least restrictive environment for many students is to be right here in their neighborhood schools. The nice thing about Sac City is we do have space in our schools. We have schools that are small, and those are ideal for building programs. So we're all on the same page. It will take some time to realize these efforts, but we are dedicated and committed to making that happen.
Right, but and everyone here will tell you, I'm a win guy, win. See, what happens is that, yes, we want to do least restrictive, but we got to be able to afford that. So when is this collaboration? These are the things I think should be included. When is this collaboration coming? What is it going to look like, right? What's the rollout going to be? Because, we need to get qualified people in here as soon as we can. So I'd like to know the when.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, I'll move to Member Singh.
All right, so it was brought up that if we don't do this, we won't have services. I really want to understand the real truth to that. Are we really saying that if we don't approve this tonight, and honestly, like if you're in our positions, how would you approve this tonight while putting us in a situation to say if you don't do it, our kids don't get services? Like, I really don't want to press you guys, but I don't have a presentation to even look at, right? So we're approving something that has concerns, but we need to give these kids services. So how confident is anyone here that we're going to be able to renegotiate prices with people while already starting contracts with them on Tuesday?
So some of those renegotiations started in the summer. And
Okay.
so at this point in time, I was an interim employee. I was not the SELPA director. The SELPA director was responsible for that. But to give you an example, I oversee speech, and I was responsible for overseeing speech. And when I met with the non-public agencies, and one of the agencies, I moved some of that FTE over to another agency, because that particular agency had much higher rates. And so when I met with them, and these contracts had already been negotiated by my predecessor, but when I met with them, they said, how come you're not giving us, how come we lost so many positions, and how come you're not giving me more, or us more? And I said, well, you're gonna have to come down on your price because you're charging about $200 more a day than your vendors, your competitors. And so they said, okay, well, we'll look at that and we'll get back to you. And it took them a week, but they came back to us and they reduced their rates by $188 a day. And what that means for the district is that is $1,000 a week per speech therapist that's working with our students. And at this particular time, we had about 20 of their speech therapists working. So calculate what that would mean over a year. So had we just not negotiated with them, we might have been able to have another company fill those positions, but it just put us in better shape that they actually had their rates come down and they could help us fill some of our positions, and that we didn't have to have that turnover of now we don't have these people who have been working with these students for a year or two or more, and now there's new people coming in again.
Perfect. So an example is it was either number 2 or number 3 was about doing exactly that, all right? But the presentation is we're going to do that, and now you gave an example that you already did it. So do you see how we need to know where that's already been done and where it hasn't been done, so we know exactly who you're still waiting to negotiate with, so that, look, the folks who are not going to be happy are going to be unhappy because there's a conundrum here of whether you start services. I'm not in a position to feel okay of not starting services, but I'm also saying we have to be in a position to negotiate. And I don't know if some of these contracts are contracts that can be cut down to just based off pay as you go, like you've done a week's worth of work, but we're not going to go into a long-term contract with you until you renegotiate. Are you able to do something like that? Is that the type of commitment you can make tonight for us to move forward while also giving us the opportunity to actually make sure that we can bring the cost down? Because this has nothing to do with not providing children with services, it has everything to do with us getting bamboozled by organizations and outside contractors. That's the best word I got today. By outside contractors who are here to apparently help, and I'm not doubting their support, but that's a great example. $200 more, and you're able to negotiate down. That's $20,000 a week, right? The rough math that you just gave me.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how this is going to impact across the district. And the truth is, if we save money in special education, we can divert money to ensure that we're having more services and intervention programs so students are actually succeeding, right? So
Couldn't agree with you more.
More money on special education doesn't mean you're actually getting better services in special education. That's the biggest thing, because if that was the case, we should have the best special education in the United States of America, because the amount that we spend on special education, right? So that's where I'm stuck. Yeah. So I need to have some confidence that you're going to be able to assure us that you're going to negotiate hard. And if we do approve this, that's the only way I'm going to approve it, is if you can get us those assurances on negotiating prices?
So those contracts were negotiated by my predecessor. So my option at this point would be to reach out to them. We've already got the agreement signed back, would be to see if they are willing to renegotiate the contract. But another thing that, and so I'm not sure I can make that promise to you that I can renegotiate all those contracts this year.
Correct.
But what I can tell you is that I will be negotiating them differently for next year than they have been this year. And I will be looking to make sure that as we fill positions, we're moving people around so that we're not continuing to pay contractors when we fill the position. So that's part of our collaboration with Human Resources. So I just want to also point out, Member Singh, that these weren't just ideas of what we're doing, that these are all actually things we've already began doing.
Yeah.
And one thing that Sacramento City used to do many years ago is, in terms of negotiating the non-public agency and the non-public school contracts, is that we used to be part of a collaborative to negotiate with the non-public agencies and the non-public schools. And what that meant is that every SELPA director in Sacramento County did the negotiations together, and the idea being not to separate us from the pack so that we're actually paying higher rates maybe than the other non-public schools. But for some reason, several years ago, Sac City backed out of that collaborative. In the meantime, the other districts in the Sacramento County actually collaborated with other SELPAs, so that now that collaborative is also made up of the North Area region, which includes Solano County, SELPA, Yolo, Sutter, Yuba, El Dorado. So we've actually, I think, put in more power, that we have a greater power of negotiation when we're doing that together. So that's a change that we will also be making this year.
Thank you. And I'll just add again, that's the clarity I'm talking about. I hate to say this again, but if there was a PowerPoint behind me, it would say we've already done this. So the presentation has been confusing. I'm not sure what we have or have not done, right? Which is why I'm asking, can you do more? Can you not do more? Where are we? So it's helpful to know that your predecessor has done negotiation or renegotiated some rates. If there's opportunities to continue renegotiating, especially for open contracts or contracts that are kind of as you go, at will contracts, then those are obviously open for negotiation. I just don't know how each of those contracts are working. So I would ask to get maybe a list of your contracts so we can start looking at them. I'm happy to look at contracts all the time. I love contracts. So
I did want to point out that their contracts, at any time, if we're not satisfied with the contract, we can cancel the contract and go with a different agency, provided we give them the notice that's specified in the state SELPA master contract. So we're not ever locked into an agency. We have that freedom to look around and see if there's a better option, and certainly release agencies that aren't doing their job or performing well. So just wanted to point that out.
perfect. And I think this is the right time to do that as school is starting. If there's someone you think you can't work with, then do it now so that our kids can get a continuance of education.
Dan has something he wanted to add to you about recruitment.
Thanks, if I could, thank you. Thank you for bringing up the recruitment piece, and I appreciate my colleagues mentioning the opportunity for even closer partnerships around recruitment. I think that's super important. I'm just wanted to, in the spirit of candor, talk about how, like many things, there's multiple truths. We have excellent partnerships, right, already between HR and SPED, and our labor partners, frankly, are amazingly helpful when it comes to recruiting for the positions that we've talked about. But to Member Benjamin's point, it's also true that there's a lot of frustration around parts of this process. And some of those processes and systems, it's not that they're wrong or inappropriate, but when we have the need like we do, we need to change the systems to serve our need. And so I'm reflecting on all of this, and I think this is an opportunity for us to partner between departments, partner with our labor partners, and make sure that we find the changes that we need to make to address this year. Thank you.
And I did want to add that I've thoroughly enjoyed working with our HR department here. They've been so receptive to ideas and so supportive of us and working with us to get access to EdJoin. So we've started working on great things, and I think that our recruitment efforts will improve over the year and over the future years. So thank you to Dan and his team, Jonathan, Adriana, all of them. Just a really amazing group, and we go down there a lot to say, how's it going? And they are so welcoming and so hardworking, and they are working fast to get people cleared and into the classroom. So we really appreciate our HR department.
Member Rhodes.
I appreciate the conversations we had today at the dais. One of the things that's hard for me with this presentation is, you're asking us to trust, and then that we're going to get this information. There's nothing here that lets me verify, and I'm no longer in the mood or have any inclination of trusting and not verifying. And so therefore, since I don't see what I need here to verify, I could in good conscience vote yes on this today. I would love for it to come back with further information, and that so we can verify these things. And I'll just say to staff or superintendent, I would appreciate also that we don't get presentations like this, and that we have something that we can verify better for us, for our community. This is not the way to do it. Understandable, we're up on time for the school district, but for school starting. But this is just not it, and this is bad governance, and I won't be a part of that. So, thank you.
And Superintendent McCarn.
Thank you. First, thank you, Fran and Betty Jo and Stephen, for, I know the work that goes into pulling all these parts and pieces together as we work to serve students who depend on us for every aspect of this. I want to say to the board also that I hear you in terms of information needed in work moving forward and in ensuring your good governance and you're able to make those decisions. I also want to acknowledge that as a system, we know that we have areas of growth in a variety of places around our systems, right? We have people doing incredible work and renegotiating and renegotiating the pieces, as Betty Jo spoke about, in order to get the very best that we can for our students. So I think, and we have partnerships. So both things true. Lots of hard work, lots of care, and also we understand that you need information presented differently so that you can make decisions. Just want to acknowledge that. I hear you, and we will work on that as we move forward. Thank you, team.
That is the end of our speaking list. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Can we, I just wanting clarity. Did just G make a motion about bringing it back, or was that not a motion?
I didn't read it as an official motion,
Okay,
but if he'd like to make it official, we can ask him about that.
Well, before I make a motion, I want to make a statement, and then I want to make a motion. This is just, we are not in a position to, at our district's finances at this moment, to be playing games with contracts. And I really, really hear folks. I am hoping that we are able to swiftly get this in order, but doing this tonight really sets us up to not being able to bring any prices down or negotiate. That's really tough. If I can't go off one example to say that we've done it, and actually it's the predecessors who've done the works, and you haven't been able to negotiate yourself if other people have already been negotiating. The truth is, if we are able to say no tonight, it does allow us to turn back around to our contractors and say, this isn't, whatever price you guys have right now is not going to work. The board is rejecting something like this and you need to come back with better prices. I understand how that may sit with folks when it comes to services, but I I really feel like for the longevity and the right services for our kids, where I would move to push this to 2 weeks from now. I know that's difficult, and I'm saying that with a lot of not a lot of excitement, but my motion would be to come back to us in 2 weeks after you have been able to showcase that you went through the process, you negotiated, you got the best prices that you can get, and then present us with the actual presentation that showcases what is being approved tonight. It's really difficult to say that, but this is kind of out of left field, and I really don't feel comfortable doing it. I feel like we're locking ourselves in, and if we lock ourselves in, we'll be back up here talking about cuts and other things that we need to do, and it can turn into long-term turmoil for a district that's already trying to make some tough decisions. So my motion is to bring this back in 2 weeks. I would ask, obviously, it's going to be a tough ask to make sure that you do your best to ensure that the students who are most in need are going to have to figure out how to assess their needs in the first day of school, in the first couple of days of school, figure out how we can get them whatever services we can get them. If there's any way you want to do this quicker and you can get us something faster, I'm all down for a special board meeting. Just doing a lot of those these days. So we can do another one for all I care if we want to move it faster. The faster you can get something, I'm happy to push for something before August 20th. But my motion would be to wait till the next board meeting to make this decision with a full presentation.
All right, we have a motion to essentially table this, bring this back in 2 weeks with more information and/or reductions, and seconded by Member Ibarra. Before I call the vote, I'm kind of processing in my head. I'm of two minds. Because on one hand, our budget is so real and so we have to make good decisions this year to ensure that we keep the lights on, keep the schools open, and ensure that the decisions keep being made by the community for our students' education. And this $50 million is a big chunk of that budget. I'm also torn on the other side of it because I recognize as an educator in my classroom, if I have a student who's deaf and hard of hearing and doesn't have an interpreter, that's a really rough start to the school year.
Yeah.
As just one example. So I'm really, really torn. I feel like we're caught in that space of we keep wanting to do things better. I think Superintendent McCarney keep talking about we get in our own way and that we're on our way to doing things better, but it's not there yet. And how do we make decisions in the middle of that space? So I honestly don't know how I'm voting right now because I'm of two minds. Would anybody else like to speak as we look at how we're going to decide on this? Member Ibarra.
I appreciate everything that's been shared this evening. And I look at this with a lens of both a mother of a child with an IEP and also the financial situation that we are in this district and the habitual decisions that have gotten us here and the habitual voting that has gotten us here. So I agree that it is not a good feeling to know that this potentially means some students' services will be interrupted as they start the school year. However, the way to really, truly change systemically is by being uncomfortable sometimes. And so that is why I seconded this motion. And it's not easy, and it's going to be painful, but that is change. That is what we want. That is what I believe, all 7 of us on this board signed up for, was to fight for that systemic change. So that is what I'll say. So again, just reiterating my second to that motion.
With your permission, I just wanted to add one more piece of information that might be helpful for the voting process. In talking with our CBO, we just wanted to mention that we can reach out to the vendors and explain that we need a little bit more time to get the contract approved, that it's not going to happen, but we need a little more time. You know, technically, they have to be okay with that. It's not that there's no risk involved there, but we just wanted to mention that that's something that can be done, and that's not an automatic, and please correct me, Gerardo.
No, you just covered it, especially when there's a new team that's asking that will you be able to provide some basic services as we work through the contract and we work in more detail, the details of the contract. So that as a part of the agreement, you know, the person who's providing the service has to accept the acceptance and the offer, so we can go there.
Thank you. Member Navarro.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, based on what you guys just said, wouldn't they have to cover us for the first 2 weeks in good faith if they want us to extend their contract? Is that something that would be possible? I mean, in good faith, I'm just saying, you know, they can hear it from me, or you can show them my video and be like, hey, provide
So I
services
think,
for
let me
the
see,
first 2 weeks.
I understand your question, Trustee Navarro. You're saying like, we're asking to see they will do it for without compensation for 2 weeks? Is that what you say? Is that?
I mean, I don't know if that's possible. I'm just saying, you know, especially if we've done business with them before.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we can ask any team, but I don't know they will do it.
Yeah.
They will do it, so.
Let's ask.
Yeah.
Member Singh.
I don't know that.
All right.
I don't know that will happen.
The creative brain is flowing.
Yeah.
So look, I won't take all the credit for stuff like this, but
That's not.
can we authorize 2 weeks
Yeah.
of contracting? Yes?
Yeah. Yeah. You
Can we just simply authorize 2 weeks of contracting, and we'll come back to this in 2 weeks, so we can give you a green light tonight of saying 2 weeks, here's what you get, come back, and we'll get you a full contract at some other, within 2 weeks. I mean, that's going back to your good faith conversation. I don't want to hold anyone's feet to the fire.
Offering acceptance, they do that.
Correct.
That is, yeah, we could ask that question.
I would ask that that would make me feel a bit more comfortable, that it encourages that those who are available would be able to accept. And I think that kind of speaks to your good faith conversation. I'm not trying to say that we don't want to work with any of these contractors, but they have been with the district for quite some time. They know how the district functions, and they also have been partners with us for a long time. I think if we as a board could authorize tonight at least a contract offering of 2 weeks to keep this going, to give them the money that they need so that they can at least start off the school year, but to come back to us with the full presentation, every information item that we need to provide a full contract for the rest of the year, that would happen in 2 weeks. That sounds complicated, but that sounds like the best thing we're going to come up with right now, and I want to see if that makes sense.
So is that an amendment to your motion?
That is an amendment to my motion.
Do we need to worry about phrasing on that at all legally?
I think for clarity, just restate your motion as amended.
All right, I'm restating my motion as amended to approve contracts, but only for 2 weeks, so that we can make it to our next board meeting, at which point we will see a full presentation to determine if we want to provide a full contract.
I'll second that.
So we have an amended motion and a second to that amendment. Member Rhodes.
That's fine. I'll be good with that. Once again, I just want to reiterate, I would like not to see a presentation like this in the future. This is very serious times, and we do not have the stomach nor capacity to be played with up here with this. I take this as you guys are playing in our face. I find it disrespectful, and I say that very bluntly and with all candor because right now is not a time, and you hear it on our board now. Right now is not a time for these type of presentations. And we need the most information to make the best decisions, and we are not going to fall into a trap of continuing the systems of the past just because we do them. I'm okay, and before I said I was going to say no to this whole thing, I'm okay with the 2 weeks with the understanding that we'll get services to our students and that you guys will come back with a more full presentation. Thank you.
All right, no one else in the speaking queue. I will call the question as amended. Student preferential vote
Aye.
and roll call vote.
Member Jean?
Aye.
Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Navarro?
Aye.
Member Rhodes?
Aye.
Member Singh?
Aye.
Member Ibarra?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, moving on to 11.3, approve chief business officer agreements.
It'd be funny if you came up with the CBO. He's like, hi.
Good evening, Board President Jean, members of the board, Superintendent McCarn. We're here to seek approval for the employment contract for our CBO, Gerardo Castillo. As we know, I think everyone's aware that this is something new for our system, is that now all senior leadership are having employment contracts. And so this employment contract is, as I said, for our CBO, and it's important that I read out loud some of the terms. So the next item addresses the board's discussion and possible approval of an employment agreement with Chief Business Officer Gerardo Castillo. The proposed contract contains the following material items and, if approved, is effective August 1st, 2026. Number one, the term under the agreement ends on June 30th, 2028. Two, the CBO's base salary will be $249,770. Three, in lieu of district-paid health insurance benefits, the district will provide the CBO an annual stipend of $15,000, subject to applicable taxes and withholdings, and will provide the CBO with a term life insurance policy payable to his beneficiaries in the same manner as other classified management employees of the district. 4, the CBO shall be entitled to 22 days of annual vacation, not to exceed 40 days. 5, the CBO shall receive an expense allowance of $4,800 per year for reasonable, actual, and necessary business-related expenses. 6, the CBO is entitled to career longevity increments consistent with the existing district policy and any associated changes as set forth on the superintendent's cabinet salary schedule. This concludes the summary of the proposed material terms to the CBO contract. Complete copies are available from the district office upon request.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any public comment
We do not.
or discussion? Member Singh.
I just want to thank our CBO for the work that he has already amazingly done in the last 5 days. So I know we're approving a contract, but you've been crushing it for 5 days already. So I will happily make a motion to approve this and look forward to the great work that you're going to do for the district. And thank you for coming back to Sac City Unified.
Second that. Member Rhodes.
Yeah, I just want to say, in his short time here, just for the public to know, see if I get the number right. He's already found about $27 million. Is that right?
28.
$28 million. I apologize. So since he's came here, he has already found an extra $28 million in our budget. Nice. Yeah. I mean, I approve this contract. What are we saying here? Let's sign. So yeah, thank you for your work. You hit the ground running. We've had CBOs here for months on months on months, multiple CBOs, and none of them have found $27 million. It goes to show your bandwidth, your knowledge, and your skill set. And we appreciate you coming here to give it to us in this moment of need. So thank you so much. Let's sign.
Member Benjamin.
Aye.
Oh. I haven't officially called the vote yet, but are you ready?
Not taking too long. Let's
I do have one comment, and then I will gladly call the vote. I wanted to say I so appreciate this shift to contracts for all of our top leadership and the transparency that's happening here, so that we can, and the protection that it provides both the employees and the district in all of this. So I'm excited by this shift. Thank you for being our first, unless you guys approved one that I missed. So thank you for being our first presentation on all of this. First one, and I will call the question. Student preferential vote.
Aye.
Roll call.
Member Jean?
Aye.
Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Navarro?
Aye.
Member Rhodes?
Aye.
Member Singh?
Aye.
Member Ibarra?
Claro que sí.
Motion passes.
Welcome to Sac City. And we will invite you up to the first thing we tasked you with, the 4 days in, 11.4, a 45-day budget revise. Come on up.
Member Jean, President Jean, just before Gerardo gets going, and congratulations, Gerardo. We do just want to note, this is going to be an information item.
Yes, thank you. It says action, but we were just doing that in case it was needed, but this is predominantly an information item. Yes.
Well, first, thank you for your confidence and the trust. We need all of us working in the same direction to turn the district around. So I just want to say first, thank you. Muchas gracias. Good evening, President Jean again, and board members, Superintendent McCarn, and the community. Tonight we will present the 45-day budget revision. This is for information item. Is that? Okay. Always keeping in mind our core values and our guiding principle. So we are incorporating $30.9 million in additional one-time student support and professional development discretionary funds. And how we're going to use this, we're going to transfer expenditures that we have budgeted in the unrestricted portion of the budget to restricted, to help us by $39.9 million. So this item was not incorporated in the adopted budget. This is not a cash flow presentation, but it will also help us in cash. We will receive about 75% of those amounts in October 2026, about $23.1 million, and the rest in February of 2027. So all of that is part of the fiscal year 2026-27. One more item that we include in the 45-day revision is $5.3 million in reduction expenditures because we caught it in the supplies in the OJ 4399 as part of the learning discretionary block grant. Again, that amount comes to the bottom. So those two items together bring us back to an additional, in the positive side, $36.16 million. So that increase our, just focus on the last column. I know there's a lot of numbers in here. We're still negative, but as a total, we went from $228.8 million to a negative $192.7 million. So that is our 45-day revision. So why this matters, this is the last part in the final state budget. So we're aligned to what was approved in June 29. And for the students, we are protecting teaching and learning in the classrooms. And the next steps is we will go. This will help us bring the first uniform, and we want to bring to you a budget revision, a formal budget revision that is required action. They will include more items. This is just more like an update what was not included in the adopted budget. And thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Steve Bruno?
Good evening. I'd just like to point out the over $200 million deficit in this budget. Scully and Dave Gordon didn't do that. Thank you.
Board discussion. Any questions, comments? Member Singh.
All right. Well, I requested a 45-day revise, and we got a 45-day revise, so thank you. What I'm really looking forward to is going to be the next presentation. I know that there has been a ton of work going in recently, a collaborative effort across the district that will showcase much more concrete numbers, let's say that. I don't want to say anything else beyond it is really important that we get a hold of the actuals, and I think you're going to do a great job helping us put that together. That's going to help this board make really important and possibly tough decisions, but that's only going to happen when we have concrete things in front of us. I know it's not a big movement, but it is important for us to be able to showcase a block grant of $31 million. It's important to showcase a movement of $5.3 million because there is not a single bucket that's going to help us get to the $150 million goal and actually the $135 million solvency number that Scully and FICMAT have told us to hit. So I understand there's a structural deficit, but I also understand that cash flow is king right now, and that's what we're working towards. So I appreciate your presentation. I look forward to the larger presentation in the future. Thank you.
Member Rhodes.
I guess I'll echo, because I guess you hit your button before mine, but I don't have much difference to say than Member Singh. We understand that these numbers right now are not reflective of all of the things that are coming and hitting, and with you being here for 4 days, we were able to plug in these numbers and show some changes, but the expectation we can see going forward is having more information, more numbers, and as we continue to chip away at our cash flow. One of the things I just want to be clear, when we talk about insolvency, it's about the inability to pay your bills moves you into insolvency. So even as we have deficits, what we're really looking at currently is cash flow and fixing our cash flow issue to impact our long-term deficits. And so with that clarity, thank you for the information, and look forward to you coming back with even more information as you get acclimated and plugging in the numbers. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we need to work in both, but we need to work in both sometimes.
The few conversations we've already gotten to have in the last 4 days have just shown me your heart and your intelligence. You are thoughtful, you are clear, and I really appreciate the way you're approaching this. So thank you for joining Team Sac City to do that work with us. I am particularly excited by the unaudited actuals because the reality that we've had now 3 CBOs, but 2 that were working on that, and the variety of conflicting information that was coming at us all last year, I really want to see where we shook out. Because to me, until we have those numbers, it's really hard to know exactly where we need to go next. So I'm anticipating that presentation would be at our second board meeting in September.
Yeah, we had to submit those to the county by September 15th. Okay. So whenever it comes to the board meeting, that's where our team is working. And you are right, we need to, several people ask me, we need to work on all of this, but we need to know exactly where we start, right? And that is the beginning balance of 25, 26. That really it becomes like core, that. And so, but we will work simultaneously, but that's our focus. And I know our staff has been working really hard with the reduced staff that we have, and that is our goal.
Excellent. Thank you for this information. And again, welcome to Sac City.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Sac City.
Thank you.
All right, 12.0, future board meeting dates. We'll be here in 2 weeks on August 20th, 5 p.m. close, 6:30 open, and again on September 3rd. We are finishing early. Woohoo! Thanks all.